We're gonna start it off like this. Good morning, God. 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 Spirit guides, ancestors, angels, lows, and narrations that guard and protect me. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I come before you all very humbly. Ooh, the young came. Significant. I come before you all very humbly, gratefully. I come before you all very humbly, but more importantly, gratefully. Thank you for allowing me to see another sunrise and another sunset, Spirit. Um, Happy Wednesday. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. That's words Amon Ra. Salutations to the sun god. I apologize, y'all. Stuff is still catching my attention. Sometimes I can be very focused, and then at other times I have like the attention span of a child. It just really depends on the day and on what the environment is and what is going on around me. So let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about unwellness within yourself because I'm really being met within the land with a lot of beings that are suffering with unwellness, and it's going unchecked, and therefore it's spreading like contagion. Prime example, gonna give you a little anecdote. I find myself going to a Starbucks, very popular Starbucks to go to in Houston. It's on Westheimer. It's right by the Galleria. Went in, found me in a perfect little spot where I could plug up my charger to charge my phone and my devices. Um, was gonna make it a quick little 1-2. I don't drink coffee like that, so and even if I did, I don't support Starbucks. Let's be very clear. But yeah, went in like most people do, and just find myself um, a little space to be in the place. I had to take a phone call, and because they have the background music playing and people were talking, it was at a volume that I couldn't hear the other person on the line. So I just stepped out to the patio area, left my belongings right where they were, because I'm under the impression that that's a placeholder for people to understand that even if I'm not physically sitting there, someone is in that space, right? I'm on the phone having an important conversation, and I look up and it's this older, I believe he was Indian. If I had to speculate, don't give me the line, but if I had to speculate, I'm going to put my money on Indian. An older Indian man walking up to me and asking me if my belongings were sitting at the table that I was at. To which I replied, yes, it was, because I'm under the impression something might have happened. What other reason could he have walked up to me and asked me that question, right? Nothing happened to my items. This man proceeds to tell me that he was going to move, that not, no, he wasn't going to. He had already moved my stuff to the side where you collect the napkins and you throw away the trash, and that him and his wife, girlfriend, or whoever the fuck he was there with was going to take the seat that I was in. Didn't ask me, didn't wasn't seeking permission, was telling me. When I say older, I'm speaking 60 and above. And even if he wasn't 60 and above, he damn well looked it. Okay? Too old and too seasoned to not know how to have manners, especially in a public space, right? I am still on the phone mind you. So not only have you disrespected me in one regard by touching my personal belongings without asking my permission to do so and taking a seat that you knew that I was coming back to, but you're also interrupting a phone call between me and someone else just because the entitlement was at an all-time high. In this man's mind, he really believed that that was acceptable to do and thought that giving me the heads up would have been okay enough for him to basically steal my chair, disrespect me, and that I should just be like, oh, it's fine. You know, I'm in the middle of the phone call and I'm like, no, what? You're not, that's not going to happen because I'm still sitting in that space. So I don't give a fuck who you invited there, because he was trying to go into detail telling me that him and whoever he was with wanted to sit there. So that's what they were going to do. Who you talking? Who the fuck you think you talking to? What? Who? What? You're going to do what? No, sir. Not on this God-given day, you're not. No, no, no. Mind y'all, this is after I had just had a conversation with God about everything not needing to be said, and me not feeling the need to check people and put them in their place, rightfully so, but yet and still not feeling the need to do so, right? Just had this conversation. Do you understand what I'm saying with God? Here comes the test. So I politely get my cute little ass up, go back into that Starbucks. Whoever his little weird ass girlfriend, I'm talking about weird across the board weird. The way that she looked was weird. The way she smelled was weird. She was just a weirdo. Simple as that. And I'm not just saying that because of the situation at hand. Had I passed that woman in the street, she looked like she drink baby blood. Weird, okay? Still, she looked like she the type that still want to be young at the age of 55, 60. Weird. He had already moved my items. I politely picked my shit back up and put it on that table. And I said, no, you're going to move. Because I was already sitting here and I had no plans of leaving yet. Oh, and she's on the phone as well with whoever she was. And at first she was trying to say no. And so she looked at me and I looked at that woman and she got her ass up. And he was like, oh, I'm going to give you permission to do. Who the fuck you think you talking to? You're going to give me permission to sit where I was already sitting? What? It's already sitting. Wait. Come again and say, wait. Like, hold on. Let me see. See, even the phone couldn't understand it. Let me get you in my good ear. You said, wait. Understood. As I sat there, after I completed the phone call with the important phone call that I already had initially, I also get on the phone with my friend and I'm just expressing myself, right? I'm venting about the situation because I'm like, how fucking dare you? The audacity, the entitlement, the audacity and the entitlement. I just couldn't even get past it. So I'm running the situation down and I'm expressing how I felt about it, because you have to be psychologically fucking damaged to think that what you did was okay. You have to be. At your big grown age, you really surmised in your mind, yeah, I said surmise, that you touching somebody else's personal belonging and then also telling them what you were going to do regarding the space and place that they had already claimed for the meantime, between time, something wrong up here. Something. I don't care what you tell me. You can tell me everything else in the world. Something is wrong with you. So as I'm proceeding to tell my friend about the situation, I'm getting triggered all over again because I didn't have the time while I was in the midst of the important phone call to really digest what happened. But I did it as I was talking to my friend. And as I really just started to break it down, I grew even more concerned. At first, it started off as irritation. The irritation led into me just, now I'm getting on your ass. To the point that the lady looking at me and I'm looking at her, I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking talking about you. You're the one. because your good old ass should know better. You should know better. Okay? Then from there, it really turned into genuine concern because I'm like, oh my God, this is not your first time at the rodeo. This behavior that you're exemplifying in public, this is the nature of who you are. I I was sickened. I was sickened to my core to know that this is how you operate. Flabbergasted. The unwellness of them. Mind you, I mentioned beforehand what their nationality was, right? So more than likely they come from a certain status, of certain economic status that puts them into the mentality that the things that they do are acceptable because of the money and the material possessions that they have, the assets that they've been able to acquire and attain. And because, imagine, here I am, this little black girl, because more times than not, people don't even be believing that I'm a actual adult, which I don't understand where you been, how you, we're not even gonna get into that. People see me as a child, right? And then depending upon how I'm dressed that day, that that notion is even more permanent in their mind. So because they view me as kid-like or adolescents, they go forth and trying to reprimand me in certain ways that you would do a child. Now, let me be very clear. They ain't bold enough to raise their voice and get the cussing. They're not. I don't give a fuck who you are. Whether you think I'm a kid or not. You know not to bark up that motherfucking meat tree. You understand what I'm saying to you? But they're bold in the way of believing that their actions are justified and then acting out said actions towards me because they have concluded that I don't have a say-so of respect. Like, respectability is not something that they have to offer me. That's a privilege if it is offered. If anything, not a birth, not a God-given right to be respected as a being overall, but because of the nature of the way that I look and how I come off, respectability is dead out the window. The unwellness, and not just of the mind, of the heart, the body, and the soul, the overall essence of who you are. And this is why I said I was concerned, because imagine how many people you've done this to. And they didn't get on your ass the way that I did. I got on their ass so bad, I made them uncomfortable to the point that they got their ass up and left. Because now you've made me uncomfortable. You made me uncomfortable, unacceptable. So if I'm uncomfortable now I can bet you can bet your bottom dollar you're not going to be comfortable either. And because I've transformed my ways, I'm not petty like I used to be. I used to be very petty. I was Miss Petty herself. I don't do that anymore because I realize there is no prize to be won in that. But that day, on that day, yeah. Because let me tell you how God works. The very thing that they did to me happened to them as well. They sit their phone down as a placeholder for the spaces that they're in, right? Naturally. And go to the counter or order whatever they're ordering. In walks this black man. He looked like a biker, had a beard, was colored, just came in and sat right in the same space that he saw the phone. He saw the phone. Let's be very clear. It wasn't like it was hidden or conspicuous and it was underneath something. It was literally in the space that the people were going to sit in. So I'm on the phone with my friend and I'm like, I want to see how they handle this, because this is something that the way that God works, I'm telling you, they just did it to me. I want to see how they handle it being done to them as well. He sends the wife or the girlfriend or whatever, the mistress, the escort, whatever she may be, because I'm firmly convinced that woman was not a virtuous woman and a woman of good nature. So she could not have been anybody's wife. There is no way in hell. There is no way in hell you were someone's wife. Okay? He sends her to come and speak to this black man about the fact that he was in their space. Imagine the same thing that had just been done to me. Imagine had he moved that phone to the side and said, oh yeah, I'm not getting up. You wasn't sitting here, so I just decided to sit here. And you just gonna have to be okay with it. It was other seating in this Starbucks. Let's be very clear. It wasn't like it was just jam-packed and it was no seating anywhere and that he didn't have any other choice. I really believe that the way that God works, he was sent as a lesson, so that you can really see for yourself the unwellness of how you are acting, how you are. That's sickening. I hate that for you. I hate it. I hate it for not just them, but the ones who operate just as they do. Kapui. Kapui, 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 kapui. And if you've never experienced it, you wouldn't know, you wouldn't understand where I'm coming from in the position that I have, the dog that I have in this fight. You wouldn't get it. But if you have experienced it, you know exactly what I'm referring to. The amount of unwellness that's going around unchecked is mind-boggling. And this is not from children, right? This is not from the unassuming. This is not from the ones who are operating out of mental health conflictions. These are people who work at Fortune 500 companies, who have their own businesses, who have families, who have social organizations that they're the leader and the head of. Even my phone is confused. Unwell. These are also the same people that if you leave this unchecked will be homicidal, suicidal, and more than likely is proven to do harm to themselves or to other people, because they've allowed whatever it is that they have just been sitting in and they've been stewing in to really poison them to the point of no return. The amount of unwellness unchecked is mind-boggling. I'm going to keep saying that. The phone just don't even want to stay up because it's the truth. It's unsettling. And someone like me, I'm used to being written off as crazy, as delusional, as going through a psychosis, as something being wrong with me to the point that I need to actually go get a psychological evaluation. It's all been said before. Me operating in my full capacity and being authentic to myself, I've heard it all before. There is nothing that anybody can say about me that I have not heard before. It's nothing. People will conjure up shit just to offend you, only to realize in the end that you're not offended because you don't give a fuck about what they're talking about. I could never care about someone who has DID opinion, because you don't even know you have an identity crisis that you suffer from. I could never care about what you say about me. What? The idea of it. I'm just the messenger. Y'all hate these messages. Y'all hate these messages because they hit too close to home. That's the real tea Lee about it. You hate these messages because you might be one of those people who's walking around with unwellness unchecked. You hate that message because it's triggering to you to know that that someone is seeing you for exactly how you are and where you are. And it's also disheartening because you refuse to do anything about it. Even if you don't believe in psychology, right? And you're not prone to going to get a counselor, or you're not prone to going to get a mental health wellness check by someone who has the credentials to provide that to you. You don't meditate, you don't pray, you don't work out and exercise. And granted, this is coming from somebody, I hate exercising. I hate it with every fiber of my being, but I understand the benefits of it, especially for your mental capacity. It's not just about forming and molding your body. It's also about collecting yourself here so that you can go forward and that you can be a productive product. You can be an active product in society, instead of you walking around with unwellness on your soul and expecting everybody else to deal with it, because this is what you deal with on a daily basis. Because you're running yourself ragged, we have to also be in that race with you. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Y'all better go get y'all some help in whatever regards that may be. Please get it. Get as much of it as you can, especially if it's free. Especially if it's for the free 99, you need to get as much as you can, collect it, store it, put it in your pocket, your back pocket, your side pocket, your backpack if you must. But y'all need to go get y'all some help. It's unsettling. Because like I mentioned, these are not just singular individuals who are hermetic in nature and who are just living in a cave somewhere, not talking to anyone all day and not interacting with the public. These are mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers, aunts, uncles. These are employers. You're a boss to someone. These are medical advisors. You need to get help. Please. For me. Even if you can't do it for yourself, do it for me. Little old me is asking you to become well. It is sickening. And as always, I am the prophetess, the conjuress, the motherfucking be lit me.